how does a collection of cute cartoon penguins, digital art, suddenly evolve into plush toys you can buy in Walmart? And then launch a crypto token that gets serious institutional eyeballs. That's glorious H. Well, it's a pretty wild story, and today we're doing a deep dive into exactly that. It's a unique one in the world of digital assets. Our mission today is to really unpack the journey of Pudgy Penguins. It started as an NFT collection on Ethereum, right? But now there's this PNG token on Solana. We've got a bunch of sources, and we're going to pull out the key insights, the brand's evolution, what the PNG token is actually for, the team that turned it all around after some early drama. Plus, we'll look at what people are saying, the token economics, the investment picture, and yeah, the risks too. Because they're always risk. Get ready for some honestly surprising facts. We're going to see how a digital IP is really trying to cross over into the mainstream. Okay, let's unpack this journey then. Pudgy Penguins. They arrived July 2021. A set of 8,888 unique cartoon penguin NFTs on Ethereum. Standard stuff so far, maybe.
Well, yeah, it started like many NFT projects, but where it got interesting, like you said, is how quickly it went beyond just being NFTs. It became this beloved intellectual property, an IP, even a cultural icon. That's what the sources are saying.
And that means real-world stuff. Physical merchandise, plush toys popping up in Walmart, Target, partnerships. I mean, how does that even happen? Going from pixels to plushies in major retail?
That's really the core of their strategy, or at least how it evolved. They consciously tried to bridge that gap, digital ownership connecting to, tangible value. And doing that made the brand way more accessible, relatable, especially to people completely outside the crypto bubble. That's a huge differentiator.
Right. So the original NFTs got expensive, pricing people out. So where does the PNG token fit in?
Okay, so PNG is the official meme token, the community token. Launched on Solana December 2024. They're planning cross-chain stuff too. And the main goal, it's stated as democratizing access, making the Pudgy Penguins brand reachable, even if you can't afford, a six-figure NFT.
So it's not just jumping on the meme coin bandwagon.
Not according to them. The sources describe it as a very deliberate and calculated strategic maneuver by Igloo Inc., the parent company. It's about expanding the IP. See, most meme coins are hyped first, utility maybe later, if ever.
They often fizzle out.
Exactly. Pudgy Penguins did it backwards, almost. They built the brand, got the toys in stores, then launched the token to extend that existing IP digitally. This gives it potentially a more sustainable foundation. It's not just relying on viral trends. It's about building that broader huddle community, people who like the brand but were priced out of the NFTs.
And the launch was huge.
Right. One of the biggest crypto airdrops ever. Tokens worth over $1.5 billion distributed.
Wow. And eligibility wasn't based on old snapshots.
No, that was interesting. Eligibility was determined right at the moment of token generation. So people who got involved later weren't necessarily left out. It allowed for wider participation right up to the launch.
And who got the tokens?
The biggest chunk, 25.9%, went to existing Pudgy Penguin NFT holders. Makes sense. Reward the core community. But then 24.12% went to other communities. That included holders of Lil Pudgies, Pudgy Rods, NFTs from partnered collections, even active NFT traders. So a pretty broad distribution.
And people still have time to claim.
Yep. The claim window is open until March 15th, 2025.
Okay, so zooming out, bigger picture, what's the ultimate mission here? It sounds massive.
It really is. They want Pudgy Penguins to be the global symbol for penguins. Like, you see a penguin, you automatically think of their brand.
What's vicious?
At the same time, they want it to be the mascot, the representative for the entire crypto space. So, yeah, aiming high.
Okay. So how does PU, the token, obviously help achieve that, beyond just being a meme coin people trade?
Right now, it is mostly speculative, like most meme coins.
Yeah.
But it's designed with a path towards more utility. Even now, you can use PNG to buy merch from the official Pudgy store and apparently thousands of other Shopify stores too. So that's a real use case, albeit maybe a niche one for now.
And what about the future? What's planned?
They've laid out quite a bit. Plans include using PNG to power the whole ecosystem, including something called the abstract chain. Also community rewards, governance rights, letting token holders vote on things. It's also meant to be a currency in their upcoming metaverse, Pudgy World, and on the Pudgy Penguins marketplace.
And games, too.
Yeah, play-to-earn games. PENGU Clash is one they've mentioned, and it's apparently integrating with the Open Network, TON blockchain, plus access to exclusive merch and interactive NFTs. So lots of potential utility down the road.
It sounds like a clear vision, leveraging the IP they already built.
Definitely. They've got the popular IP. They're building this Web3 brand with real-world connections, Walmart, NASDAQ appearances, That progress is tangible,
But the challenges.
making that token utility real. Right now, beyond buying merch and speculation, the intrinsic value is limited. But their focus on this meme-to-utility evolution and the real-world IP stuff is definitely hitting the right notes in the current market.
And who's steering this ship?
It's primarily Luca Netz. He's the CEO of Pudgy Penguins and Igloo Inc. He's the one who acquired the brand back in April 2022 and really drove this turnaround.
He's seen as a bit of a visionary.
Yeah, definitely. He talks a lot about making blockchain accessible to everyone. His strong, centralized leadership has clearly been vital.
But wait, centralized leadership in a Web3 project aiming for decentralization.
Exactly. That's a point of friction, or at least a question mark. Especially since there's no formal, detailed white paper for PENGU outlining the long-term strategy, the path to decentralization, governance details. For investors looking for that clear roadmap, that absence can be a concern.
Okay, let's dig into the team a bit more. You mentioned Nets took over after controversies.
Right. The current leadership came in after the original founders were basically forced out. That transition was critical. So now you've got Luca Netz as CEO, then Lorenzo Melendez as president and CTO, and Peter Lobanov as chief creative officer.
Let's focus on Nets for a second. His background is pretty interesting.
It really is. He had a tough childhood, apparently was homeless for a time, left high school at 16 to make money.
Wow.
Yeah. Started his first e-commerce business at 18, millionaire by 19, largely by pioneering influencer marketing on Instagram back in the day.
So he's got serious business chops.
Seems like it. He founded Gel Blaster, that toy brand you now see in Target. He also turned around the Von Dutch clothing brand, took it from basically zero to $100 million annual revenue in under a year, according to reports.
Incredible. And then Pudgy Penguins.
Yep. Bought it for 750 ETH, about $2.5 million then, in April 2022, and just completely revitalized it. NFT floor price quadrupled in months. And he's the one who landed that Walmart deal for the toys. 2,000 stores. That's a huge milestone for any Web3 brand.
And no major scandals attached to him personally?
Not mentioned in the sources, no.
Okay.
His arrival is framed as fixing the previous problems.
And the other leaders, Melendez and Lobanov.
Melendez brings the tech background. Founded his own blockchain consulting firm. Won an award from Wharton's Accelerator. Solid technical foundation. And Lobanov is the creative force. He's considered a creative genius and was actually one of the original co-founders back in 2021, responsible for the early art style.
Okay, so who are the original founders? And what went wrong?
Right, the first iteration launched July 2021. It was college students. Cole Villamain, Clayton Patterson, Mick and Booch, and Jonah. But their time was plagued with issues. They got ousted by a community vote in January 2022.
Why?
Allegations of not delivering on promises, video games, NFT books, these mystery eggs that hatched into disappointing ROGs or fishing rod NFTs. Basically, things weren't happening. And worse, there were accusations of mismanaging or even siphoning funds from the project's treasury. A real crisis of trust, as the sources put it.
Any specific individuals called out?
Cole Villamain faced specific accusations, things like unethical dropshipping practices, not disclosing paid promotions, and even trying to bribe a former community moderator. It got pretty messy.
So the leadership change was absolutely crucial.
Critical. And the shift to professional, transparent management under Netz is a huge part of their current success story. Netz's track record of turnarounds, combined with the team's mix of Web 2 business sense and Web 3 tech creative skills, that's a powerful combination. It lets them reach markets most crypto projects can't touch and build revenue streams that aren't just tied to volatile token prices.
That turnaround is dramatic,
Yeah.
from near collapse to, well, NASDAQ appearances. How did the public and the market react to all this?
Generally, public sentiment around PENGU is pretty positive now. It gets a lot of buzz.
Right.
Ecosystem developments help, plus they're very active on social media. Big events really boost it, like ringing the NASDAQ opening bell with Van Eck. That gives mainstream visibility.
And the ETF talk.
Oh yeah, the anticipation around a potential PENGU ETF filing has created serious excitement. Lots of FOMO, fear of missing out. The brand recognition is undeniable. Millions of followers, over 100 billion views. It's achieved that cultural icon status they aimed for. There was even this coordinated profile picture thing in July 2025 that showed strong community support.
But it can't be all sunshine and rainbows, right? What are the criticisms?
No, definitely not. Critics point to the usual meme coin volatility. There was one instance where a single whale selling caused a 32% volume drop, showing how sensitive it still is to sentiment. There have also been concerns about large amounts of PENGU being moved from team wallets to exchanges. That always raises eyebrows about potential selling pressure down the line.
Yeah, that can spook investors.
And a slightly funny but real issue, on Reddit, if you search PENGU, you often get results for a professional Rainbow Six Siege player, not the token. So maybe a minor branding hurdle there.
So a lot of positive hype, but also these underlying concerns and typical crypto volatility. What stands out to you in all this sentiment analysis?
What's really fascinating, I think, is the power of the brand itself. Pudgy Penguins isn't just an NFT project anymore. It's a recognized IP. That gives PNU a foundation most meme coins completely lack. And the community, the huddle, seems genuinely engaged and loyal. They're a big driver of growth and seem to stick around even when the market gets choppy. That resilience is key.
And the mainstream stuff, the Walmart toys, NASDAQ, that helps legitimacy.
Massively. It makes it feel more real, less like just volatile internet money. It reduces perceived risk for ordinary investors and suggests there's value beyond just the crypto echo chamber.
You mentioned resilience. Can you elaborate on that, especially after the airdrop?
Right, that massive $1.5 billion airdrop. Immediately after, the price apparently tanked a brief 90% drawdown, according to some reports. That's
Yep.
huge selling pressure.
Ouch. Most projects wouldn't survive that.
Exactly. But BNG didn't just die. It saw a resilient rebound. Whales and community members started buying back in. That quick recovery, despite the huge initial sell-off, signals real underlying demand and strong community belief. It's not just people farming the airdrop and dumping. That's a very positive sign for a community token's longevity.
Okay, let's switch gears to the token itself, the nitty-gritty, PNG tokenomics.
Right, so it's a fungible token on Solana. Fixed max supply. 88,888,880,888. Just under 89 billion PNG. All minted right at the start, the token generation event.
And how much is actually circulating now?
Recent data puts the circulating supply around 62.86 billion PNG.
And the initial distribution. You mentioned the airdrop.
Yeah, strategically designed. Over half the supply went to the community. 25.9% to Pudgy Penguin NFT holders, 24.12% to those other communities, Little Pudgies, Rods, Partners, Traders. The goal was broad distribution, building loyalty, and avoiding too much control in a few hands early on. Creates that network effect, makes it more resilient.
What about the team share? That's always a key point.
Absolutely crucial. 17.8% is allocated for the current and future team, and 11.48% for the company. That's for marketing, growth, development. But here's the important part. Those tokens are vested. They have a one-year cliff, meaning none can be sold for the first year. Then they unlock gradually over the following 3 years.
So no immediate dump from the team.
Exactly. It aligns their incentives with the long-term health of the project, reduces the risk of a rug pull or insiders crashing the price right after launch. That vesting schedule provides significant reassurance for other investors.
Okay, market presence. How's it doing?
It's achieved a pretty significant market cap, somewhere between $1.8 billion and $2.7 billion recently. Trading volume has been really strong, often hitting billions per day. Recent 24-hour volume was around $777 million.
Wow. And it even flipped Dogecoin in Korea.
Briefly, yeah, in trading volume, which is pretty amazing. Shows it's got broad appeal and serious momentum, at least in some markets.
All right, let's look at the charts. Technical analysis time. What's the price story?
Okay, launched December 2024. Hit highs like 0.0688, maybe 0.07 USDT soon after. More recently, peaked around 0.046 to 0.057 cents. The all-time low was way back in April 2025, around 0.00037.
And recent performance.
It's been on a tear, up over 335% in the last 30 days, roughly 25% in the past week alone. Currently trading around, say, 0.037 to 0.043.
What are the technical indicators saying? RSI, MACD?
It's a bit mixed, honestly. The RSI, that momentum indicator, some reports say it's nearing overbought, even above 80. Others show it more neutral, like 49 or 61.
So potentially overheated, potentially not.
Exactly. A high RSI can signal overbought, but in strong uptrends, a token can stay overbought for a while, so you have to be careful. The MACD indicator shows a generally bullish trend, had a bullish crossover, but it's maybe starting to flatten out a bit.
And moving averages?
The 50-day and 100-day MAs are tightening, which often signals that volatility might be coming. But the shorter-term ones, the 7-day and 25-day, are sharply rising, confirming the recent strong bullish push.
Okay, so based on that, what are the key levels people should watch? Potential entry points, resistance.
Key resistance levels to keep an eye on are around 0.045, 0.0469s, and then 0.05 cents. Support seems to be around the 0.037, 0.038 area. A suggested safe entry strategy range is lower, down at 0.0300029 cents.
So entering now might be risky.
Given the huge recent run-up and those potentially high RSI readings, yeah, it's higher risk now. A cautious approach is probably smart. Waiting for a pullback to that 0.0300, 0.029 support range might be a more conservative entry.
And if someone does buy near current levels?
Definitely use a strict stop loss, maybe around 0.0285 to protect your downside if it turns against you. The main thing is avoid FOMO. Don't just jump in because the price is flying, especially if the RSI goes above 80, the trading volume doesn't keep up. That could signal the rally is running out of steam.
You mentioned that post-airdrop recovery earlier. How does that factor into the technical picture?
It's more about underlying strength than a specific technical level. That quick 90% drop after the airdrop is typical meme coin stuff. But the rebound, the buying that came in, that suggests a stronger base of support than you'd normally see. It implies there's genuine demand and community belief holding it up, not just speculative froth. That resilience is a positive factor, technically and fundamentally.
Okay, let's tie it all together. Investment recommendation. What's the overall verdict based on the sources?
The consensus seems to be a conditional BUI, with strong caveats about entry points and managing risk.
What supports that buy rating?
Several strong factors. First, the strong brand and intellectual property. It's not just code. It's a recognized thing. Second, competent and proven leadership. Under Netz, he has that turnaround track record. Third, the active and resilient community, the huddle. Their support is evident. Fourth, the developing utility on the roadmap. The games, governance, ecosystem stuff. It's not just a meme forever, supposedly. Fifth, growing institutional interest, highlighted by that ETF filing talk. And finally, from a technical view, waiting for a pullback to those strong support levels, 0.0290, 0.03 SOS, looks like a potentially good entry, aligning with the bullish chart patterns.
And for people already holding PENGU?
For them, the recommendation leans towards hold to potentially capture that longer-term growth if the project delivers.
Okay, but what about the caution side? Reasons not to buy, or maybe even to sell short-term?
Absolutely need to cover those. Number one is the inherent meme coin volatility. It can swing wildly, unpredictably. Number two, that reliance on future utility. Its value proposition depends on them delivering on those roadmap promises, which are still under development.
Right, promises aren't guarantees.
Exactly. Then there's regulatory uncertainty, especially around the ETF. If that gets denied, it could hurt sentiment. And sometimes overbought technical conditions pop up, signaling potential short-term pullbacks.
What are the actual price predictions looking like? Any targets?
They vary quite a bit, as you'd expect. Short term, for 2025, some see targets of 0.7 to 0.9 cents, especially if an ETF gets approved or gets listed on more major exchanges. Midterm, maybe 2026, 2027, forecasts are in the $0.13 to $0.18.
And long term, 2030.
The most likely scenario seems to be continued growth, maybe settling between $0.18 to $1.30. But then you have the bullish blue sky scenarios, targets like 31 cents or 43 cents, even $1.50 to $1. One super optimistic analyst even threw out $4.20, comparing it to Shiba Inu's crazy run.
Wow, $4.20 is optimistic. So what are the absolute key things to watch? What determines success or failure here?
Success hinges on delivering that ecosystem development. P2E games launching, metaverse integration happening. Also, more mainstream partnerships and licensing. Crucially, institutional adoption, ETF approval, big exchange listings, continued strong community engagement, and, of course, favorable regulatory clarity.
And the failure flag?
Failure to deliver utility is the big
Yes.
one, if those roadmap items don't materialize. Also, market saturation, too many meme coins. An NFT market downturn could hurt sentiment. Regulatory headwinds are always a risk. Already team issues, losing nets, lack of transparency, etc.
So specific advice, buy when, sell when.
BUI recommendation. Think about accumulating on dips to support, ideally that 0.029, 0.030 level, time horizon. Short to midterm, maybe the next 6 to 18 months. Sell recommendation. If you're actively trading, consider taking some profits if it pushes up towards resistance, like 0.45, 0.048 cents, especially if volume isn't strong and the RSI looks extremely overbought, like over 80. A bigger reassessment, maybe selling more, would be needed if they consistently miss utility milestones, if the brand hype fades, or if major negative regulations hit. And always use that stop loss, maybe around 0.0285, regardless of your entry.
And that ETF? It feels like a massive potential catalyst.
It really is. The sources call it a potential major inflection point. Approval could unlock huge major demand and give institutions a way into this meme coin NFT sector via a familiar vehicle. But a rejection, that could cause a significant price drop. So watching the regulatory news around the ETF is absolutely critical for anyone involved.
Okay, we have to cover the risks properly. Like any crypto, PNGU has significant risks, right?
Absolutely. Standard crypto risks apply. Volatility risk, prices can plunge fast. Liquidity risk might be hard to sell sometimes if volume dries up. Huge regulatory risk. The rules can change quickly and unpredictably. Plus, security risks, smart contract bugs, hacks, phishing scams are always out there, cybersecurity risk in general, and market manipulation easier to do with meme coins sometimes.
And specific risks just for PENGU.
Yes. Its meme coin nature means hype drives the price a lot, making it inherently speculative. The limited current utility we discuss it relies on future promises. The absence of a formal white paper makes detailed long-term assessment harder. It's got a short history risk, only launched DCAC 2024, so no long track record. Always demand risk while people keep wanting it. Those team wallet activity reports showing transfers to exchanges raise potential selling pressure flags. And finally, it's NFT market dependence. If the whole NFT space cools off, it could drag PEGU down too.
Got it. And the necessary disclaimer.
Right. This deep dive is purely for informational purposes. It is absolutely not financial advice. Don't take it as a recommendation to buy or sell anything. Investing in crypto is incredibly risky. You could lose everything you put in. You absolutely must do your own research, assess the risks yourself, and make your own decisions. Past performance doesn't predict future results. And importantly, if penny's value drops, holders have no recourse against the community, the founders, or any trading platform. Laws can also change suddenly and impact the value or usability of crypto assets. Be aware.
Okay. We've covered a lot. From a controversial NFT launch through a major turnaround to toys in Walmart and now this PNU token catching serious attention, it really is a fascinating story about how digital IP is blurring lines, moving from screens into the physical world and financial markets.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? What does it actually mean when a cartoon character online becomes a cultural thing, a traded asset, maybe even a regulated investment product someday? And thinking bigger picture, what impact will this kind of real-world integration have on the digital economy overall? How we value things? It's a space to watch.
Definitely. The Pudgy Penguins and PNU story isn't just about crypto tokens, it's about brand building, how powerful a loyal community can be, and this ongoing quest to give digital assets real, tangible utility in a world that's changing incredibly fast.